Once again, we are honored to be joined by Utah Republican Senator Mike Lee. Hello, Senator.
Hello.
It's a pleasure to speak to you again, sir. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Oh, it's great to be with you.
Well, I appreciate that. Okay, right now the president is meeting with Democratic leaders, and I'm seeing on the crawl on CNN that tomorrow he will meet with Republican leadership. How do you see this unfolding from here as we live day by day, I guess?
You know, this one's really difficult to predict. It's encouraging, I suppose, that the president's reaching out, that he wants to talk. I hope he actually does want to negotiate and compromise at this point, because so far he hasn't. So far he's been the head of the party of Obamacare, which has been intent on shutting the government down and keeping it shut down unless they can get Congress to fully fund Obamacare's implementation. And what I've been saying is I'm not willing to do that, because Obamacare is hurting a lot of people, and it's going to hurt a lot more people if it takes full effect.
All right. Now, the president's approval rating is down to 37% in the AP poll today. And while it's true that Republicans, when they ask who do you blame, are up there in the 60s, Democrats are up there in the high 50s, and the president's up there in the blame game in the 50s also. So despite media coverage and slant that you couldn't buy, it's not working out, I guess, the way the Democrats and the president thought it might.
That's right. They live in a new age. They're discovering that a shutdown in the information age is not a shutdown that will always automatically be blamed entirely on Republicans. We have more than just ABC, NBC, and CBS communicating news and information to Americans now. We've got the entire Twitter, Facebook, political blog establishment that feeds people with information that they previously couldn't get, and couldn't get nearly as fast or nearly as completely. And this is changing the dynamics. The other thing that's changing the dynamics is the fact that the facts are not on the president's side. The American people don't like Obamacare, and the American people don't appreciate the president's conduct so far in the shutdown, where he's using the immense power of the federal government to hurt people so as to force his political will on an unwilling electorate. That's not going to make him any more popular. Quite to the contrary, it'll make him steadily less popular.
I want to get to the what he did yesterday by opening the mall to the immigration rally, but keeping everything else closed, and the military families in 1 second. But Paul Ryan wrote a piece in the Wall Street Journal today, kind of his vision of a way out, and that would be that the president would agree to tackle tax reform and entitlements reform. He did not mention, obvious by its absence, was Obamacare or Affordable Care Act in that op-ed, but he has since said that Obamacare is an entitlement, just like any other entitlement. So as far as he's concerned, it's in the conversation. What do you make of Ryan's proposal in the Journal, if you saw it, or his effort in general?
First of all, I agree that Obamacare is an entitlement. It's a massive new entitlement program, and it's not yet in as an entitlement. It's a massive new entitlement program, and it's not yet in full entitlement reform in connection with the continuing resolution discussion is to defund Obamacare, and that's what I'm going to meaningful entitlement reform in connection with the continuing resolution discussion is to defund Obamacare, and that's what I'm going to
House is sent over to the Senate. Don't include defunding Obamacare anymore. The latest one, I think, or the latest couple, just asked for the delay in the individual mandate for 1 year, and I think I still assume the tax on the medical device tax, but they're not asking to defund the entire Obamacare package anymore. So would anything short of that be good enough for you personally?
Well, the first two they sent over did defund it, and I support those. And the more recent
personally,
well, the first two they sent over did defund it, and I support those. And the more recent non-controversial aspects of government, those that have no connection whatsoever to Obamacare, fully funded, and I support that approach, and I think that's the approach we ought to continue to follow.
Now, when the president yesterday said, I just played a bite with him at the press conference with Mark Knoller, said, why don't you fund, the NIH, and why don't you fund and National Institute of Health, of course, and why don't you fund keeping the monuments open and Head Start? The Republicans in the House have passed all this. Why don't you have the Senate pass it and sign it? And he said, and I could play for we don't get to pick and choose. If I don't like a law, or I don't get to pick and choose, man, that's all he does on law after law, whether it's immigration, whether it's on health care itself. I mean, this president has picked and choose, if you will, what parts of a law to enforce, what parts not to enforce. He's done it against the Constitution, and there he's standing and saying, I don't get to pick and choose.
Well, that's right. The problem with that statement is that it's just 180 degrees opposite of the truth. He picks and chooses all the time. He's rewritten Obamacare many, many times, choosing not to enforce this provision or that, choosing to grant this waiver or that waiver. And the fact is, there are all kinds of programs that are authorized by Congress that are never funded by Congress. There are lots of other programs that are authorized and then initially funded by Congress that are later defunded. Take, for example, Yucca Mountain, our nuclear waste depository. Legally, our nuclear waste depository is in Yucca Mountain, Nevada. But for several years, under the leadership of Harry Reid, Congress has been defunding that program. It hasn't been funded. This is not unusual. In fact, this kind of thing happens all the time. It's just that Democrats are now saying that for some reason, when there's a law that they like, a law that creates a massive new entitlement program and a law that is going to cause many, many people to lose their jobs or their health coverage or have their wages cut or their hours slashed, they're willing to say that that law is somehow sacrosanct, even when the president himself refuses to follow that law, even when the president himself acknowledges that law is not ready.
We're talking to Senator Mike Lee here on the Steve Malzberg Show. What about for instance, the opening of the mall for that rally yesterday? Nancy Pelosi then gets up and thanks the president on at the podium for opening up the mall for the rally and says, and I'm happy that the World War II memorial is open as well, which of course it's not.
Yeah, well, what was so disgusting about all that is that the World War II memorial doesn't even have doors to close.
Right.
They had to build doors in order to lock them. That should never have happened in the first place, but this is happening all over the country. They're shutting down federal monuments, national parks, and other U.S. government-owned property. They've even shut a married couple in Nevada has been shut out of their own home because it happens to be on federal land. They've shut down businesses that operate on federal land, saying that they don't have enough money to keep them going. Well, they're private businesses operating on federal land. There's no reason why it should take federal money to keep them running. The point is that when government gets this big, government is going to use its power for manipulative purposes. And that's the best argument yet for defunding Obamacare. We should not grant so immense and so personal a power to the federal government, because that, too, will ultimately be used against the people down the road.
One more for you, and you've been very generous with your time. Along those lines of inflicting pain and taking advantage of power, the president has said that I can't prioritize if we don't raise the debt ceiling. Treasury Secretary Lew also refused to say that he would prioritize, which, of course, is don't raise the debt ceiling. Treasury Secretary Lew also refused to say that he would prioritize, which, of course, may have seen this circulated up on Capitol Hill, because I believe it's been circulated. Moody's Investment Services says, we believe the government would continue to pay interest and principal on its debt, even in the event that the limit is not raised, leaving its creditworthiness intact. The debt limit restricts government expenditures to the amount of its incoming revenues. It does not prohibit the government from servicing its debt. There's no direct connection, it says, between the debt limit and a default. Now, having heard that and having heard what the president has said about not being able to prioritize, do you trust him that if the ceiling is not raised, that even though there would be enough money to pay the interest on the debt and also fund Social Security, pay Social Security, do you have confidence that he would do that or cause more pain?
I would hope he would do the right thing. I would hope he would not openly flout the Constitution. You see, Section 4 of the 14th Amendment states in no uncertain terms that the validity of the public debt of the United States, authorized by law, shall not be questioned. And what that means is that as the principal and interest come due on debt already incurred by the United States, it has to be paid, and it has to be paid first. And so I would hope and expect that the president, who took an oath to uphold, support, and defend the Constitution of the United States, would not openly flout that or any other provision of the Constitution. If he's suggesting otherwise, even suggesting it, he should be ashamed of himself, and he should reconsider and recant that statement immediately.
Senator, thank you very much, sir. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Senator Mike Lee, ladies and gentlemen.